The Enchanted Maze. In the kingdom of Valoria, a magical maze appeared overnight, whispering promises of a single wish to anyone brave enough to reach its elusive center. Aria, a determined adventurer, stood before the shimmering entrance, her heart set on a wish she'd long dreamed of, one she had never spoken aloud. Behind her, Kai, a skilled thief with a shadowy past, scanned the maze with calculating eyes, hoping its treasure would change his fate for good. Tara, a scholar driven by curiosity, marveled at the maze's magical architecture, eager to unlock the mysteries hidden within its twisting corridors. "The maze shifts with every step," she muttered, scribbling notes into her journal as the walls moved in a graceful dance of enchantment around them. From within the maze, Joran, its stoic guardian, watched the newcomers, sensing their desires and silently judging if they were worthy of the wish. The trio took their first step into the maze, the entrance ceiling behind them, leaving only the shimmering walls and a quiet hum of magic in the air. As they ventured deeper, the path twisted and branched, the walls rippling like water, forcing them to move forward without ever looking back. Suddenly, vines shot up from the ground, snaring Kai's foot, but Aria swiftly cut through them with her blade, freeing him with a sharp nod. "You saved me," Kai said, surprised, his voice carrying an unfamiliar tone of gratitude, though his eyes remained guarded, still wary of her intentions. Tara, watching from the side, noted how the maze seemed to test them, as if it had a will of its own, shaping challenges based on their fears. At a crossroads, the group hesitated, unsure which path to take as the air grew thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant sound of laughter. "This way," Aria declared confidently, though Tara frowned, sensing that not all was as it seemed in the winding paths that lay before them. As they followed Aria's lead, the ground beneath them shifted, and they slid down a steep slope, landing in a dimly lit chamber covered in glowing runes. The runes flickered as they stood, casting faint shadows that moved without the presence of light, creeping ever closer with each passing second. Joran, watching from a hidden alcove, smirked to himself, knowing this was one of the maze's most ancient tests, one that many had failed before. "We need to work together," Tara whispered, recognizing the danger, and began deciphering the runes as Aria and Kai stood guard, weapons ready. As Tara chanted, the shadows halted, dissolving into mist as the walls parted to reveal a new path, glowing softly with a golden light. "Well done," Kai muttered, impressed despite himself, though he quickly hid his admiration behind a casual shrug, still playing the lone wolf. As they walked, the maze's walls shifted again, but this time, they twisted in such a way that the group found themselves circling back to familiar ground. "It's testing us," Aria realized aloud, her eyes narrowing as she considered the possibility that the maze wasn't just about reaching the center. "Or maybe it's testing you," Joran's voice echoed through the maze, his presence finally revealing itself as he stepped into view with a stern gaze. "Who are you?" Aria demanded, her hand tightening around her sword as Kai and Tara tensed, ready for whatever challenge this stranger might present. "I am Joran, the guardian of this maze," he said calmly, "and I am here to see if you are truly worthy of the wish you seek at its center." "Worthy?" Kai scoffed, "is this another trick?" "I didn't come all this way for some morality test," he added, his eyes dark and defiant. Joran smiled faintly but said nothing, turning his back on the group and vanishing into the maze's twisting corridors as quickly as he'd appeared. "What does he mean by worthy?" Tara mused, her scholarly instincts piqued as she studied the maze's constantly shifting patterns with renewed focus. "It doesn't matter," Aria said firmly, her determination unwavering. "We keep moving forward, no matter what tests it throws at us." The group pressed on, their resolve growing stronger, though the maze's challenges became more elaborate, testing their patience and trust in one another. At one point, the walls closed in around them, forcing them into a narrow passage where only Tara's knowledge of ancient spells saved them from being trapped. "I'll admit, you're useful," Kai muttered to Tara, his usual cynicism softened as they made their way through another winding corridor. "And you're less of a liability than I thought," Tara shot back with a smirk, her sharp wit catching Kai off guard, though he chuckled in response. The bond between the three began to grow, their individual motives momentarily forgotten as they worked together to outsmart the maze's ever-changing tricks. They encountered illusions, of riches, of loved ones long lost, but each time, they reminded themselves of the maze's true nature and pressed onward. Aria, who had been so focused on her wish, began to question if it was worth the trials they had faced, her resolve shaken by the maze's deceptions. "What if the wish isn't what we think it is?" she asked quietly, her voice barely above a whisper as they paused at another crossroads. "Then we'll find out together," Kai said, surprising even himself with the sincerity in his voice, though his usual bravado quickly returned. Tara smiled at the interaction, her scholarly pursuit of knowledge turning into something more, an appreciation for the companions she had found. As they neared the center of the maze, the walls became transparent, revealing glimpses of the wish they sought, shimmering just out of reach. "We're almost there," Aria breathed, her heart pounding with anticipation as the maze's final challenge loomed before them, a door with no visible key. "There must be a way through," Tara said, studying the door's intricate carvings while Kai searched the area for any sign of a hidden mechanism. "It's not about the door," Aria realized suddenly, stepping back and looking at her companions, "it's about us, we have to trust one another." The three stood before the door, each placing a hand on it, their combined strength and unity causing the door to shimmer and dissolve into light. Beyond the door lay the maze's center, a tranquil clearing bathed in golden light, with a single fountain at its heart, sparkling like liquid stars. "This is it," Tara whispered, her eyes wide with awe, but her scholarly thirst for knowledge had quieted in the face of the journey they had shared. Aria stepped forward, but instead of feeling the rush of victory, she paused, her gaze lingering on Kai and Tara, the true reward becoming clear. "It's not just the wish," she said softly, "it's everything we've learned along the way, the strength we found in each other." Kai smirked but nodded in agreement, his usual sarcasm giving way to a rare moment of vulnerability as he, too, understood the maze's true purpose. Tara, always the scholar, smiled knowingly, for in the end, the knowledge she had gained was more valuable than any single wish could ever be. As they stood together at the fountain, the maze's magic swirled around them, granting each a unique blessing aligned with their true desires. Aria received a gift of courage, one that would carry her through any challenge in life, for her wish had always been for strength to protect others. Kai was granted a second chance, his past forgiven, and the opportunity to forge a new path, free from the shadows that had haunted him for so long. Tara's blessing was knowledge, not of the maze's secrets, but of the power within herself, for she had discovered that true wisdom came from within. As the blessings were bestowed, Joran appeared once more, his eyes filled with pride as he saw the transformation in each of them. "You have passed the maze's test," he said, his voice filled with quiet admiration, "and you leave here not with a single wish, but with true gifts." With that, the maze began to dissolve around them, its magic fading as the three companions found themselves back at the entrance, forever changed. "So, what now?" Kai asked, a mischievous glint in his eye, but the warmth in his voice suggested that he was no longer the lone thief he once was. "Now, we begin a new journey," Aria said with a smile, her heart lighter than it had ever been, knowing that the true adventure was only just beginning. And with that, the three friends set off into the horizon, their paths forever entwined, bound by the magic of the maze and the strength of their bond.